How long did it take you until you realized, this is actually for me?
I think it was my third call
Okay.
that I collected a PIF. When I got that £2,800 payment, I got 10% off that, which is £280.
Of course.
I was looking back at my old job thinking I would never get paid £280 for 1 hour of work.
The big number, 10K, £10,000 in a single month. Break it down for me. How did you even actually come to a position where you was able to be able to say, you know what, I hit 10K last month?
So I'm actually closing on a sales coaching offer, and to actually hit my first 10K month, I was taking calls 6 days a week, apart from Sunday, which was the webinar day, and I was collecting a PIF a day. And obviously there's some cash collections you get in the meantime as well, which all accumulate towards my 10K a month.
Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, I want to be on 2 offers. That just means I'm going to be working Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday, obviously at my own comfort and my own availability.
Let me ask you this, Abdullah, right? If you could go back in time and you could speak to Abdullah 6-7 months ago, what would you tell him?
If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to get started earlier.
So, Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm with Abdullah.
Assalamu alaikum, bro.
He's one of the first students to ever actually join Tijarah, and here he sort of joins myself and my co-founders behind the camera, Ubaid, in Dubai. Now, how did it even come to you being even here in the first place? Because from what I remember, 28 hours ago you was not here, and you had no idea that you was going to be in Dubai.
Yeah, it's crazy. So imagine I was actually on a sales call, getting a call from Ubaid, and then I delayed the call, picked up after 10 minutes, and then they just surprised me saying, you're coming to Dubai.
Exactly. I mean, the reason behind it is not like we just randomly fly people out to Dubai every other week. No, there's reason behind it. He earned it. I gave him my word. I promised him. I said to him, when you make your first 10K month in sales, I owe you a holiday, right? And he actually hit this 10K month 4 months ago, all right? And the reason for the delay was there was some issues where he couldn't fly out. But alhamdulillah, better late than never. And here we are. I surprised him 24 hours ago with his ticket, Emirates direct from London, Heathrow?
London Gatwick.
With a 2:35 p.m. flight, right? And then you landed, we picked you up. We'll have another YouTube video of, spending the day with him in Dubai. We took him to the desert. We took him in a nice car. We took him out to eat. Like we had a very, very nice day, alhamdulillah. Yeah. And then now we're just gonna sort of dive deeper into your sales journey and really understand how you got to a position where you're hitting those 10K months. I mean, the holidays are amazing, right? But I'm sure you could afford this holiday by yourself. You didn't need me to pay for this holiday for you.
Yeah, of course. So,
and one more thing I must add, I think the real gem in all of this isn't the 10K month. It isn't got anything to do with the money. It's the ability to be able to then fly out without having to ask a boss, without having to sort of ask for permission from no one. So I'm sure for 99% of people behind the camera, I mean, if I gave you a call and said, I booked your flight, 2:35 p.m., be in Gatwick tomorrow, most of you couldn't. I mean, most of you would have to go ask for permission and probably would get rejected because of the short notice. But for Abdullah, the real freedom was the fact that he is already hitting those 10K months. He doesn't have to answer to a boss, and he was able to do so. But forget all of that. Let's dive deeper into the real nitty-gritty side of the sort of sales-specific things. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 months ago, you were telling me, bro, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, because to be honest, I'll be honest, I was an introvert.
Yeah, you know what? The funny thing is, I had the exact same experience, and I used to tell him this all the time. When I first got into sales, I said, I don't think this is going to be me. I don't think I could bring myself to speak for 45 minutes on a sales call without sort of guessing or second guessing, like, oh crap, what do I need to talk about next? What should I talk about next? I genuinely thought this thing wasn't for me. It wasn't until I actually jump in and realize 45 minutes isn't even enough time. I kept running out of time. I kept going over 45 minutes. So, I mean, before we get into anything, let me ask you this. Before Tijarah, before Ubaid, before myself, before sales, before high-ticket sales was even in your mind, what were you doing? What was Abdullah doing on a day-to-day basis?
So, I'm currently still a university student.
Same as me, you know. That's crazy. It's crazy how both me and him are still in uni.
Yeah. I'm in my second year right now. Just finished it, going into my third. I used to work a part-time job at Iceland as well, as a home delivery driver, so obviously just doing long shifts, like 10, 12 hours. But alhamdulillah, I don't have to do that anymore.
Alhamdulillah. Not like there's anything wrong with doing that, by the way.
No, of course not.
Everyone has to do what they have to do to make a living, but it's the ability that higher ticket sales is giving you in a sense that you're now able to work from wherever you want. I mean, today, obviously he didn't work today. I wanted him to enjoy, so I told him book time off your calendar, and he was able to do so without having to ask for permission from no one. But for example, tomorrow, I said to him, bro, all right, we had 2 nice fun days. We had today, you had your day of travel. we need to lock in tomorrow. So I've given him sort of the desk set up to be able to take all of his sales calls tomorrow, and he's going to be locked in even while being on holiday. And then we can still go and enjoy the evening.
Of course, yeah.
But talk to me. So you're working in Iceland, you're going uni. What were you studying?
Economics.
Economics, okay. Now, why did you feel as if the traditional job route wasn't for yourself? Like, what sort of feeling did you get inside that you was like, you know what, I need to find something else?
I'll be honest, first thing first, the reason I'm going to university is for my parents.
100%. Same with me.
I mean,
And I'm sure that's for everyone. Like,
it's just the safest route.
yeah, there's only a few people that I can think of that go to uni because of personal passion. Everyone does it just to make their parents happy.
100%.
And as well, it's good. Like, I will never fault a uni degree. To have something to fall back on as a worst case scenario, I mean, that's literally an insurance policy.
Yeah, literally.
That's literally an insurance policy that you pay one time for 3 years, and you have an insurance policy guarantee where you will have a job. I mean, I don't know if you have a job anymore, to be honest, because the job market's a bit cooked, but you
So that's
will have
exactly
something to fall back on.
That's
yeah.
literally exactly why I didn't want to go down the traditional path, because like people coming out of university with no grad job, nothing, and then they're unemployed for 2-3 years after university.
I saw the same thing.
Working a part-time job that they turn into full-time, obviously. And I don't want to do that. And alhamdulillah, high ticket sales is something that's pays much better,
100%.
easier to get into,
100%.
remote. There's more benefits than cons.
100%. And you're rewarded based on your work, right? So the more
100%.
work you put in, the more you're going to get, or the more commission you're going to get. It's unlike most other things where other jobs, the more work you put in, you're not going to make any more money. All right? The amount of work you put in and the amount of money you make, there isn't some positive correlation where the more work you put in, the more money you make. No, it's fixed. So Abdullah, talk to me. How did you get into the whole high ticket sales space?
Me and Ubaid have actually known each other since primary school, and only ever so recently we became close. And I asked him a few months ago what happened to his law career, and he told me he ditched it. And I was confused as to why. He told me he got into something called high ticket sales. And when he first told me, I thought it was something to do with sales, obviously, and I didn't think it could be that good of a job. Then he explained to me the in-depths of high ticket sales and the amount of money he was making from it, from one single call. For example, the call he showed me, from a £4,800 payment, he made £480 off an hour's worth of work. And I was surprised. The minute he showed me that, I was locked in. I told Ubaid, get me onto it. Ever since then, I put my head down, asked Ubaid for help, and got in, and he started Tijarah Group. And here I am.
So, I mean, talk to me, Abdullah. Remind me of your first ever sales call.
My first ever sales call was with a guy called Osama, who, when I look back at it now, I know I 100% would have closed him. He gave me the objection of, I need to think about it. And back then, even though I had practice, I wasn't very confident with it. But now I know if I had that same objection, I would smash it.
Like me and Ubaid always say, iron sharpens iron. You just need to put the reps in and smash it out with the practice, because I think about objection, I mean, it comes up at least once a day. As a sales closer, you're going to be faced with that objection literally minimum 5 times a week. So you need to be on your toes and know how to handle that objection. So what did you take from that?
I'll be honest, it was just, obviously that was my first ever sales call. But after that, because I took more and more, every rep counts and makes you better.
100%. So talk to me. I mean, obviously you had that first sales call. It wasn't a close, unfortunately. How long did it take you until you realized, you know, this is actually for me?
Oh, so I think it was my third call
Okay.
that I collected a piff. And obviously there's no better feeling than collecting a piff.
100%.
It was my first ever £2,800 payment.
A piff on what is an unbeatable experience.
Honestly.
I mean, as a sales closer, I'm sure if you know what it is that we're talking about, once you see that piff land on that what payment, like, that's beautiful.
When I got that £2,800 payment, I got 10% off that, which is £280.
Of course.
I was looking back at my old job thinking I would never get paid £280 for 1 hour of work.
We've established, you know, your first ever sales call, and then how long obviously took you until you felt that this is for you, which was your third piff, which is, you know, funnily enough, similar time to me when I realized, you know, this is actually for me. When I had, like, I think my fourth or my fifth piff, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to double down on this and lock in. But let me ask you this, Abdullah. I mean, where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, I want to be on 2 offers. That just means I'm going to be working Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday, obviously at my own comfort and my own availability.
Not a sales manager?
Not a sales manager.
Well, you like to be in the trenches taking the sales calls?
Yeah, I like them.
Fair enough. I mean, I was like that as well. I never actually had the opportunity to work as a sales manager. I have always prioritized and I've always enjoyed the feeling of actually being in the trenches and taking sales calls. I feel like as a sales manager, I don't know, it's just never really been for me. I think it's the same for you. I haven't really wanted to manage a team and, give them daily motivation.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for me. I'd rather be in the trenches. I control myself. I control my time. I take a call. With a sales manager,
100%.
I feel like you're more tied down as well, your time.
Of course, yeah. And I think there's just so much more money.
In sales closing, 100%, 100%. I mean, if you have one piff a day, you're laughing. That's big money. So Abdullah, talk to me. The big number, 10K, £10,000 in a single month. Break it down for me. How did you even actually come to a position where you was able to be able to say, you know what, I hit 10K last month? Break it down for me. What offer were you on? Obviously, you can't really talk about the offer specifically, because I know you're on an NDA, but talk about the niche of the offer. Talk about how many calls you had to take, your availability you had, and how many sort of closes you had to have throughout a day to be able to hit that 10K mark.
So I'm actually closing on a sales coaching offer. And to actually hit my first 10K month, I was taking calls 6 days a week, apart from Sunday, which was the webinar day. And I was collecting a piff a day. And obviously there's some cash collections you get in the meantime as well, which all accumulate towards my 10K a month.
So that one obviously piff a day and then that internal payment plan, cash collection. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, does it? Now let me ask you this, right? At what moment did everything sort of click for you?
It all clicked for me in my first month of closing when I got paid £3,000. And I was thinking, no corporate job will be paying you £3,000.
To make £3,000 after tax in a corporate world, in a corporate 9-to-5 life in the UK.
I think you'd be working there for 2-3 years at least.
No, not even that, bro. Maybe even 7-8 years you need to be in the industry. But, so when you had that first 3K month, interesting. And that 3K month, how many days of the week were you working to make that? Because I know you was also balancing uni and working at Iceland these times.
So I was actually working 3 or 4 days a week. And I think my calendar was open for 4 hours a day.
Wow. So 4 hours a day, maybe what, 5 calls a day, 45 minutes each. Yes.
And obviously there were some no-shows, but...
Yeah, of course, everyone gets no-shows.
Yeah.
It's about what you do to implement to sort of get those no-shows and turn them into paying customers. Now, I'm sure this question is going to sound really familiar to yourself and a lot of closers out there, but this isn't a sales call, or I'm not going to ask you about what your day-to-day life looks like in a sort of sales closing manner. But let me ask you this, Abdullah. What does your day-to-day life look like at the moment? And no, there's not a follow-up question of do you have the time commitment to invest into this program?
So my current day-to-day is me waking up at 9 a.m, taking calls all the way up to 3 p.m, which is around 6 hours of work. And maybe in them 6 hours, I get around 3 to 4 calls a day. And after 3 p.m, I've got free time. I can go gym. I can do whatever I want. And yeah.
Now talk to me, Abdullah. The most important thing, right? Obviously, our dean. What does earning a halal remote income even mean to you personally? And look, to be earning 10K a month consistently, Allah Mubarak, that's it's a very, very big number, right? Especially for most people. How does it feel though, knowing that income is all clean?
So earning halal income is actually very important for myself. And I actually started off as a trader, where obviously it's a very big grey area in Islam. And one thing that I was always told, which is very true, is that halal money obviously takes longer, but it lasts longer. Whereas haram money comes quicker, but leaves quicker. The last thing I want to do is feed my family with something that's haram.
Now, Abdullah, talk to me. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a brother who's sitting on the fence about jumping into high-ticket sales?
So if you're a brother that's sitting on the fence, deciding on whether to get started into high-ticket sales, I would always recommend for you to get into high-ticket sales. First of all, it's halal, it's remote, and you get to work at your own availability.
Now, to wrap this whole sort of case study up, let me ask you this, Abdullah, right? If you could go back in time and you could speak to Abdullah 6-7 months ago, what would you tell him?
If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to get started earlier.